1,247 madness. That's your balance, not your savings. Your balance. You check it at 11:43 p.m., lying on a mattress you bought secondhand from someone on Facebook Marketplace. You check it again at 11:44. The number doesn't change. You have $31,000 in student loans, $40,200 on a credit card, and a direct deposit that hits on Friday that is already spent. You are 23 years old. You are not behind. You tell yourself you are not behind, but every grocery run is a calculation. You put the olive oil back. You buy the store brand. You split a streaming password with someone you don't particularly like anymore because canceling feels like losing ground. This is what zero feels like. Not dramatic, not cinematic, just a low, constant hum of arithmetic running underneath everything you do. You don't talk about money. Nobody does at this level, but everybody is doing the same math. You watch your bank app more than your messages. You know your account number by heart. You move $200 to savings and move it back 3 days later. This is the level where money is not a tool. Money is the air. Either you have enough, or you're already suffocating and you can't always tell which one it is. The first rule, at zero, is that your relationship with money is entirely emotional, and the system knows it. It's designed to keep you in this state of high cortisol decision-making because emotional decisions compound in the wrong direction. Every sale you see, every subscription you keep, every small treat to reward yourself for a hard week, it's the machine reclaiming the little oxygen you have left. You get the raise, not a big one, $6,000 a year before tax. It lands as $387 extra per month. You felt rich for approximately one afternoon. Then the car needs $900 in brake pads and rotors. You learn that expenses expand to meet whatever space you make for them. But this time, something shifts. You pay off the smallest card, $200. You screenshot the zero balance. You send it to nobody because nobody would understand why this screenshot means what it means to you. But it means everything. Because for the first time, a number moved in the right direction because of a decision you made. That's the beginning. You crossed $10,000 in savings for the first time. You're 26. You've never had 5 figures before. Not once. You check the balance constantly for the first week. Not out of anxiety this time, but out of disbelief. You don't do anything with it. You just let it sit there. The psychological weight of $10,000 when you've never had it is disproportionate to the number itself. You feel like you've crossed into a different category of person. You haven't. But you feel it. You start reading. Not self-help, not motivation, actual books about how money moves. You learn what an index fund is. You open a brokerage account and stare at it for 3 weeks before you put anything in. You invest $1,500. The market dips the next day. You almost pull it out. You don't. This is the moment you decide whether fear runs your decisions or you do. The shift happens slowly. You stop thinking about money as safety and start thinking about money as information. You're making $68,000 a year. Now you've got $40,000 saved. You have a Roth IRA you're actually contributing to. You feel by most measures fine, stable. You're doing what you were told to do. Max the 401k. Build an emergency fund. Avoid lifestyle inflation. You're doing all of it. And then you sit down and run the numbers honestly all the way out. You type the projections into a spreadsheet at midnight, and you stare at what 40 years of disciplined saving at your current income looks like, and something shifts in your chest, because the number at the end is not what you thought it was. It's fine. It's enough to survive, but it's not freedom. It's a comfortable cage. This is the competence plateau. You are good at surviving the system, but you are not yet good at building your own. The second rule is that a salary is a ceiling dressed up as a floor. The moment you see it clearly, you cannot unsee it. You start a side project. You don't call it a business. It's just a thing you do on weekends that makes $400 a month, then $900, then $700. You don't tell your employer. You don't tell most people. You reinvest everything back into it for 14 months. You eat the same lunches. You don't upgrade anything. Your net worth crosses $80,000, then $110,000. You start feeling the gap between where you are and where a salary alone would have taken you. The gap is where the leverage lives. Your investments return $3,800 in a single year without you doing anything. You've had months where your side income was higher than your paycheck. You know what an asset is now, not theoretically but physically. Something you built or bought that earns while you sleep. Your relationship with time changes. You start measuring hours differently. Every hour spent on something that doesn't compound is an hour the machine isn't running. You cross $150,000 in net worth. You're 32. You have a rental property with $44,000 in equity, a brokerage account sitting at $61,000, and a business generating $6,200 a month. You still drive the same car. You've noticed that talking about money at this level makes people strange, either envious or dismissive. Neither is useful. You start saying no to things that used to be automatic yeses. A destination wedding you can't afford without liquidating something. A group holiday where you'd be subsidizing people who didn't do the work you did. No, no, no. You feel the friction in your relationships. You stay quiet and you say no anyway. You stop spending money to maintain relationships and start protecting capital to build options. At $300,000, your money starts to have a personality. It has preferences. It wants to go certain places and resists others. You've had one investment return $22,000 in 8 months. You've had one lose $9,400. You don't panic about the loss, not because you don't care, but because you understand now that this is the cost of being in the game. You don't pull back. You reposition. This is what the people at the bottom don't see. They think the top is about avoiding risk. It's not. It's about choosing which risks are worth sitting with. The third rule is that below $500,000, you are still buying assets. Above it, assets start buying each other. You are close. $670,000, then $810,000. You've restructured the business twice, brought on a partner, exited one investment, and rolled the proceeds into something bigger. You are 36. Your net worth is $920,000. You stop sleeping as well as you used to, not from stress, but from intensity. You're running scenarios in the shower. You turn down a job offer that would have paid $210,000 a year. Your parents don't understand. You don't explain it. Then it happens. A Tuesday. Your brokerage updates and the number is $1,040,000. You thought you'd feel different. There's a quiet satisfaction, and then immediately it's not enough. Not in a frantic way, but in a practical way. $1 million at a 4% return is $40,000 a year. That's not freedom. That's just a starting point. The millionaire arrives and realizes the milestone was never the destination. It was the proof of concept. You stop going to events you used to attend to feel connected. The networking happy hours where everyone talks about what they're building, but nobody talks about what it costs them. You don't need it. You are building something now that exists in a different conversation. At $2.3 million, money stops being a source of anxiety entirely. It is simply a resource, like time or attention. You don't think about your balance. You think about allocation. Where is the capital positioned? What is the return profile? What are you not seeing? You hire a wealth manager, fire him, and find someone better. Someone who charges more and talks less. Your business does $4.1 million in revenue. Your portfolio is at $1.6 million. You are wealthy in the way that means you have actual time. You take a 3-week trip and do not check email for 5 days of it. This is the thing people cannot buy at lower levels. The fourth rule is that wealth is not what you accumulate. It's what you no longer have to do. At $5 million, the game changes texture. You are moving capital now, not working for it. You are in deals that return $800,000 in 18 months. You start meeting people who are at $20 million, $50 million. You study them the way you studied the 10K mark from zero. You watch how they think. Their patience is longer. They are not trying to win each hand. They are trying to stay in the game longer than everyone else. You stop talking about money with people who don't have it. Not out of arrogance, but out of accuracy. Conversations become imprecise. People project meaning onto numbers that the numbers don't carry. At this level, $500,000 is a position size. It is not a life-changing sum. Saying that in the wrong room makes you a villain, so you stay silent. At $14 million, you walk into rooms where decisions are made. You are at the table because your capital and your pattern recognition are genuinely useful. The fifth rule is that at $10 million, your reputation becomes a financial instrument. It earns returns independent of your decisions. You make decisions that would have seemed morally complicated 5 years ago. A company restructures. 140 people are laid off. Your position increases in value. You feel the distance. The gap between your decisions and their consequences widens. You don't resist it. Your net worth crosses $30 million. You are 54. You have structures in place that will outlive you. You are invited places because of what you represent and what you can write a check for. You've stopped pretending about most things. Pretending costs energy, and energy is the only currency that doesn't compound. The game no longer requires your presence. It requires your positioning. You own pieces of 11 companies. You have a direct line to people who set policy. You don't lobby. You advise. At $80 million, the isolation isn't loneliness. It's context. Your context has become untranslatable to most people who knew you before. You give more than you ever have. Because at this level, money has stopped being a measure of anything meaningful about you. Giving is one of the remaining things that still feels like a decision. The sixth rule is that above $50 million, money stops measuring your worth and starts measuring your reach. You are 61. Your net worth is $94 million. You have not worked a conventional day in 9 years, yet you have not stopped working. You think in cycles now: demographic, infrastructure, credit cycles. You position ahead of them like a sailor reading weather. You are in a board meeting. You speak for 4 minutes. You ask 2 questions. The room moves around those questions. This is power at its most compressed. No spectacle, just calibration. And somewhere in this city, there is a 24-year-old opening a banking app. His balance is $1,047. He thinks this is a story about money. He thinks more of it will resolve his life. He doesn't know what it will cost. The gap between who you are at the beginning and who you become at the end. The machine doesn't ask if you're ready. It just takes whoever shows up consistently. The money compounds, and so does the distance. The balance is 1,247. It always starts there. It always will.